Out here on the road, we hardly ever run into any big shots. Just covering all the people who aren't big shots turns out to be a full-time job. Well, Sylvan N. Goldman is an important man. But when I heard about him, I knew I had to meet him anyway. So into the Citizens Tower in Oklahoma City, up to the 18th floor, out of the elevator past the bust of Sylvan N. Goldman, down the hall toward the beautiful receptionist, and finally into the carpeted inner office of the great man himself. He was on the telephone talking to somebody about money.
You mean the $25,000 I went in? Well, but the main thing I think of was...
Sylvan N. Goldman owns land and banks and things. But it's not what he does, it's what he did. What he did changed everything. What he did was invent the shopping cart. You thought there'd always been a shopping cart, didn't you? Not until Sylvan N. Goldman invented it, there wasn't.
When you talk to someone about shopping carts, and they say, you invented the shopping cart? Well, I thought Adam and Eve had a shopping cart. They'd always been in use.
Well, it does seem they've been around always. The walls of Sylvan N. Goldman's office are bright with cartoon tributes to his invention. Tributes to him, really, a 1937 Oklahoma City grocer who became the Newton of the A&P, the Edison of the Kmart, the original genius who made possible life as we know it today.
I suppose the shopping cart was an immediate success.
Well, I thought it would be an immediate success. I was so enthused about the cart and the advertising that we had put on this cart being put on the market.
I noticed this. It says shoppers came and saw and said it's a wow. Is that really what happened?
No. That's a big lie. I went down to the store the next morning about 10 o'clock, and I expected to see people standing in line outside of the store trying to get in
to use their shopping carts.
To see what it was that they're going to be shopping with without having to carry it. So I went down to our largest store, and when I got there, there was ample room for me to come in. There were people shopping. Not a one was using a cart.
How'd you overcome that?
I hired for each store a young lady about in her late 20s, another lady about in her 40s, and someone else about their late 50s. And these people were shopping right up there by the entranceway of the store.
Shills.
That's right. Exactly what it was. And when they see the ones that were walking around there using them, they started using them. And immediately it became a huge success.
Oh, did it ever. The shopping cart was born humbly in Sylvan Goldman's ramshackle carpentry shop in the spring of 1937. By fall, the carpentry shop had become the Folding Basket Carrier Company. And in time, that became Unarco Incorporated, the General Motors of shopping carts, turning out hundreds of thousands of seductive chromium beauties every year. They are especially beautiful to Sylvan N. Goldman, for until his patent on the famous fold-up shopping cart rear end ran out, he collected a royalty on every one of them. That was very nice for him, and very evolutionary for us. Before we learn to walk or talk these days, we learn which package contains the Cracker Jacks and which holds merely pickles. If there were no shopping carts, nothing to roll our children and our Campbell soup around the store in, what would have become of us? There might never have been a supermarket. There might never have been a giant economy-sized Kellogg's Rice Krispies. It boggles the mind. Consider the case of Kevin Ray Keesley, 21 months old. We met Kevin at the Safeway. He had a pacifier in his mouth and a box of Lipton tea in his hand. His folks say Kevin likes television all right and playing with the other kids, but what he really goes for is the big shopping cart trip. The supermarket is Kevin Ray Keesley's kindergarten, sideshow, and merry-go-round. Thanks to Sylvan N. Goldman, the grocery store is big business, and Kevin Ray Keesley is a happy kid. And to think, way back there in the beginning, nobody felt it was going to work out this way.
Almost everybody but you thought women were going to go on shopping with a basket on their arms forever.
That's right. I guess so.
And the first carts looked like that.
That's it. Let me have that basket, and of course there's a lot of people who won't even know what the basket is like. This is how the housewife carried her basket. And then she would do her shopping. If it wasn't a basket like this, it was a wicker basket that had a... And you see, in this way, all we did was take the same basket they'd been used to shopping with and putting it in there. And if they were just filling one, filling two was doubling the amount of sales that we were getting, so there's no need of trying to make still bigger baskets.
Here you are, sitting up here on top of the world, or at least on top of Oklahoma City, with a magnificent view, obviously a rich man. Was it shopping carts that made you rich?
Well, they didn't make me poor.
It must give you a feeling of some pride to realize what you did. You revolutionized a big section of American life.
I think that any time that you have something that you originate and it becomes as successful in its use as a cart has, you cannot help but look at it in pride when you find it in such way outlandish places that you had the slightest idea on God's green earth ever finding anything like a shopping cart.
In a way, it occurs to me, these enormous supermarkets we're all so familiar with today would have been impossible without the shopping cart.
Oh, yes. Some of the larger users of shopping carts are these discount houses where they have groceries with all these other merchandise. A lot of them will use 2 or 3 times as many as a larger supermarket because of the enormous size area that they had to cover. Got so it just isn't a grocery shopping item. It's a public shopping item for the public to use in most places they go into.
Sylvan N. Goldman knew what he was doing. Don't give them one basket if you can give them 2. Don't make it hard for them to shop if you can make it easy. Here is a man with 1 lettuce, wondering what else he ought to buy. Keep looking, sir. You'll find something. You have a shopping cart in your hands. And that is the other thing that Sylvan Goldman knew from the beginning. Nature abhors an empty shopping cart.
What would our country be like if you'd never invented the shopping cart?
Oh, I'll tell you, it'd be just like it is now because somebody else would have.